as you see, the SS behind me on the lift, and the reason we haven't had it out is because we have an oil pressure issue happening when it's fully warmed up. About a week and a half ago, Alex went and made like 3 passes on the street. First 2 passes were great. The third pass at wide open throttle, it stuck at 40 pounds and then dropped to 12 when he let off, which isn't good. His car is like never below 30 ever. So we've moved it around a few times since then. The engine sounds great, but once warmed up, it's still really low oil pressure. Not something that I want to mess with, so we're going to roll some bearings in it and put in a new oil pump. Thankfully, the guys over at Michigan Motorsports hooked us up, so we shall get this going. Does that sound okay?
Yeah. Should use mics.
Every time I forget about those. 2. I got all the oil drained out of it yesterday. The antifreeze is out. Now I need to get the oil pan and front cover off. I'm hoping, since the car doesn't have a sway bar anymore, that I can drop the oil pan without lifting the engine up. Probably not likely, but we're gonna try it. Keep that close.
Yes, Mom. Oh, my lips are numb.
We'll see if it works, since the dude's flying right by your face. He left.
Proof is in the pudding.
I'm just gonna keep this.
Do not let me put antifreeze in this car without changing the fucking thermostat, because I keep forgetting to change the thermostat, and it's gotta be the thermostat and housing.
I hate mosquitoes. I've yet to have one person tell me the purpose of a mosquito.
I mean, what's the purpose of human?
I mean, like, bats eat mosquitoes and flies and whatnot, and that's the only thing I've ever heard, that bats eat mosquitoes.
Well, a lot of people would argue that humans are a parasite on the earth and that mosquitoes are eating us.
Well, those people are stupid. Oh man,
What?
there's a giant dead spider. I'm not really sure where that came from.
I got pitted on my face.
Sorry. We have another citronella candle up there if you want.
Yeah, up here.
Okay.
nobody said anything.
That does not look pretty.
Look at the crap. And this is why we saw a little bit lower oil pressure than normal and went, we're going to pull the pan.
Yep, made a good call. problem. Right there. Pretty sure this is the problem. The oil pump doesn't want to spin very well, and it's not moving back together like it's supposed to. Now the new one, you can see how this moves freely, and they go back together on the inside where the two grooves split. So that's most likely the culprit and what went wrong. This one is sticking and frozen up. So time to get the new one back in.
Oh, cool. That's neat. I found an Allen in it. Too small. It's always the one. Oh, we'll take it over to the vise, I guess. See if we can get this fucking thing out. Will that work? I don't know. Nope. Grinder it is. Ah, here you are, you bugger. You grabbing a grinder? What are you doing? Huh? I was gonna grab one over here. I got one sitting here. It ain't it. Just for the record, this is not how you take apart an oil pump, but we're replacing this one, so this one is being a pain in the ass. Good enough for me. Look at that. Got it. Perfect. There's crap in this oil pan or oil pump. So we don't know what, if anything, caused it, but there was a piece of crap in here. And so long story short, I was taking this thing out for some testing. I usually don't drive this thing, but every now and then Holly's at work. Yeah, look at the marks on this thing. There's a lot of wear, and I can feel these ridges. But anyhow, this is a Melling oil pump. We've never had an issue with a Melling oil pump, but there's like, I don't know, there's stuff in here. I do want to pull this bypass out to see if we can figure out if it's such. Whoops. this is the bypass on the oil pump. Look at it. There's like crap on it. I don't know what this is. So our assumption is that something caused this bypass to stick open on a pull. Because he's open so that the oil pump just doesn't continually make oil pressure. It makes up to a certain point and then stops. This one would do it 75, 80 pounds, and then would taper off, and the top of the pull you'd see about 70, 75 pounds. But here, do we have a can of brake clean handy? I'm going to tell you right now, this is our smoking gun, because I can see the damage already, but you're not going to be able to see it on camera unless I clean the brake clean, or clean the oil off of it. At least I think so. I'm not an expert. But I don't know how well you can see that, but there's a ton of scoring on this, which tells me that there was something in this oil pump that came apart, or I don't know if a piece of chunk of shit got in there from the engine, but usually the pickup screen will stop anything big enough to get into this, and that's why you have an oil filter. But there is definitely scoring on the piston portion of this bypass, which tells me that something definitely went through this. And so what happened was, I don't know if anybody's explained it yet, but I was doing a pull, I had the data logger going, I heard a weird noise in the drive line, like a rock or something hit the drive shaft. Scared me a little bit, so I immediately look over at the laptop. I can't transfer that to my new phone.
It's gone.
No. If it's gone, you and I are going inside. We're going to have an all-nighter replacing my videos. You good?
Why are you taking all those out?
Because I want to show the comparison between the two oil pumps.
You're missing one.
So this is a high volume oil pump. This is a 10296 Melling. That was a 10295 high pressure oil pump. But if you look, they're very, very similar inside. But this one's a lot more gutted than this one, as in it just pumps more volume. Right over there. I like taking these apart anyway, just because like we'll put a bunch of grease in here so that this does not start dry. But if you look at these two, you can see the difference. You can see the wear rings, like something went through this oil pump. I'm not sure what could have gone through it, whether it was from just, I don't know. I don't know what could have gone through it. Chunk of shit in the engine. But this one's like brand new. And then just for shits and giggles here, we'll pull this bypass out and I'll show you the piston that's completely unscathed. Because we're gonna give her all the oil pressures. But anyway, as I was explaining previously when our phone ran out of storage, I did a couple pulls. Everything was fine. I was in the middle of a pull and I heard a weird noise, like a rock or something hit the drive shaft or something. And then it made me nervous, so I looked over at my oil pressure. I had let off the throttle because I heard something. And I let off and I'm doing like 50 miles an hour. And I look over and I see 12 pounds of oil pressure. And so I shut it off because I was like, shit. You know, now I'm thinking that rock or whatever I heard was something in the engine. I coasted the last like half a mile to the stop sign and I had to start it to drive it the quarter of a mile the rest of the way to my house. And when I started it, it had 28 pounds of oil pressure on startup. I was like, okay, that's not bad, especially after 3 pulls. The oil was hot. Pulled in the driveway, saw 16 pounds of oil pressure at idle, which isn't super terrible, but really weird for this engine, because this engine with this oil pump and this setup, I've never seen below 25 pounds, and that's after 3 or 4 long, hard 60 to 130 pulls, and the oil's super hot. So I was like, damn, that really sucks. So then I called Holly, because I don't like hiding stuff from her, and I was like, hey, just so you know, totally ruined her day, by the way. Just so you know, here's what happened. And so she was pretty distraught over it. I went out an hour later, started the car up, 45 pounds of oil pressure at idle. I'm like, what the hell? So then Holly comes home. We discuss it. We decide we're going to change the oil, cut the filter open, check things out. Well, when we did that, we found bearing material, or what looked to be bearing material, some copper colored shit in the filter and in the oil. So we decided we're just going to get bearings, we're going to get oil pump, and we're just going to re-bearing it, re-oil pump, do everything. Because the only thing we could assume was that the bypass had stuck open. And when I went back and looked at the data log, it actually went up to 40 pounds of oil pressure at 6,400 RPMs. And normally it's making like 75 pounds of oil pressure at 6,400. So obviously something was not right. And so that's when we decided to do all this. The more we thought about it, it had to be that something in the oil pump did something. And there is clear evidence that something in the oil pump was not right. Because even that right there, I don't know if you saw that, the spring sticks out of this a lot further than it stuck out on that one when I pulled it off.
Yeah, that one's stuck in.
And this piston just literally fell out. I had to smack that one. Like this one's stuck on the threads. Mind you, this one didn't have oil in it, so stop it. We're just gonna put you over there. But this is a machine surface. This should not have any scratches on it. I don't know if you can see the difference. Clearly something got stuck in the bypass valve of this oil pump. And I think that's what happened was this stuck down because it had a chunk of crap in it. And that's what made it lose oil pressure, was it just stuck open. And that sucks, but such is the nature of race cars, I guess. But we're gonna put this oil pump on it. Probably gonna put a little water grease in there. And we're gonna put the Copo, the high pressure spring in it, so that this thing will make 95 pounds of oil pressure. Where are the dogs?
Inside.
Are they loose?
Good. Alright, so after figuring out the issues with the oil pump, we pulled one cap last night. Wasn't on video because we were pretty done for the night. We were just also curious. But if you can see, the bearing is not good. It is smoked. But on the ends, it's just the coating that's worn off. This is why, in my opinion, we spend the extra money on the coated bearings. Because I feel like that's what saved us from spinning a rod. You can take a look at the crank here. We're gonna end up having to polish it a little bit because it transferred some material. But all in all, not too bad. So just a little bit of polishing, slap some new bearings in it, new pump, and we should be able to get rolling down the road. And if you've never polished a crank sloppy like this, what we're gonna do is a couple different rounds of different sandpaper. We're gonna start with the 320, then we're gonna move up to the 400 and 600. But we're just going to cut this in slits that match the width of the journal, wrap paracord around it, and work it till it smooths out. I figured I had to get them on.
guy said he had a 59-inch shoelace, which is about 5 feet. We're doing it from underneath the car, so. And then this is how you do this. This is how you do paracord.
Cinch it up with our citronella candle there.
See, that one's already burnt.
All right.
We need to crack. I don't think this will crack a lot.
And then we'll get this set up under the car to watch what we're doing.
Watch it. Oh, that hurt.
It's tricky because you don't want like the angle.
Oh, and I just don't want to punch the car
Yeah.
because that hurts.
No, that one right there will slice you. I'm not saying I know from experience, but well, this is good spot set up for where we're at. You said 320? Oh, it gives us two.
What is this? 1, 2, 1, 3, 5, 7. So this is 5. Which would mean this one is 6. Oh. Oh, that was stupid.
I also brought these down from up there.
Let's get that other bearing off that's just chilling here.
How bad's that one look?
The thing is, you can't feel any of this, meaning we just got into the coating.
Is there still black on the ends like the other one?
But look, it was eating it. Those
Yeah.
are the chunks we're seeing.
Yep, flaking right off. But there's still
There's still bearing there.
bearing and there's still coating on the ends.
But those chunks, those are definitely what we saw at the bottom of the oil pan.
Yeah.
Fun part is we can't do the rear one till the cranks or till this is out.
Yeah, which we were gonna put this in. You're zoomed in on your belly there.
Thanks for that.
Well, I turned it down to look at
I'm sure
the.
the world wants to see that.
I turned it down to look at the bearing. This needs to stay in the area. Where's the other cat?
Still on the engine. Because they don't just fall off. But look, this one, not so bad.
Oh, we'll show that one to the camera too.
Well, where's the other one?
I just stacked the two that went together.
So let's put them in order on the table. So we keep that, so we know exactly which ones are bad, which ones are. Okay, so this is number 6. This is number 5. I need to write on this one again because otherwise it will rip the flip off.
I'm gonna grab this to hold the bearing. Do you have a piece of cardboard that we're not using?
Dude, there's a whole brake clean box right here that you cut flat off of. Should've got some assembly lube too, 'cause all we have is, I mean,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
plenty of this reed snot shit, but I don't like this stuff. But it'll work, I've used it to go several engines.
Okay, so we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are 6. The ones that you already have both of them on is 6.
Sure. Where is the sandpaper? Start at 320.
These ones are 5. There. Figured can't get easier to understand than that. I could have spaced it out more when I was writing 1 3.
WD-40. Alright, so you take a piece of sandpaper like this, soak it in WD-40.
Oh, I bet I could just.
This is 320 grit. We're going to start with this and then we're going to move up. I think we got all the way up to 800 grit. We're a little wide on that, so we're going to cut this down a little bit.
Oh, I know what I can do. I can lower it, and so it sees more.
Oh, still got a couple split off. So you want it to fit loose around here. You don't want it rubbing the sides because then it won't spin as easy. I got this in here pretty nice. So now that's in there.
You have the paracord? Or for some people, shoelace.
Well, it's called the shoelace trick, but we got paracord, so that's what we're using. 550 cord if you're in the Army. So now,
Be sure to separate your strings. You don't want to go too long in one spot because you're trying to do evenly distribution. Just like that.
I think we need to, there we go. And then it takes a minute to kind of get the motion right, but
Is the sandpaper a little wide yet?
no,
Okay.
it's just sandpaper, so it's grippy. And we have let's see what she looks like. Oh yeah. I can still see some bearing material on the crank journal, but man, does it look a lot better than it did. No, I'm gonna put this back on and do it for a little bit longer. Well, I'm still doing the 320 grit because I still see a little bit of copper on the crank journal from some transfer, and I don't want that on there, so we're gonna and we are doing the main bearings as well. Number 5, I know some of you will actually understand that you can't get number 5 out without taking the rear timing cover off. That's okay, because we bought a rear main seal too. Because this thing, it has a plethora of oil leaks, and we're just gonna change the rear main seal and make sure that the barbell in the back is an aluminum one. All right. See how she looks.
Oh, that's a lot nicer.
Look at that. You can still see a little bit, but we'll just move up to the 400 and hope that that kind of goes away. Probably would have been fun. God, look at that. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. Almost. Look out.
Oil dripped.
Told you to look out. Why'd you move that?
Because I was using it and then you could look out and you were spraying stuff at me.
I don't know how good of a view of that crank journal you got, but now look at it. She's fucking perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty much a money shot right here.
Question we have to ask ourselves though, it's going to be really tough to get sandpaper in to polish the mains.
Yeah. I say we'll see how bad it looks.
Well, let's maybe, this is, because you got to pull the side bolts, and those are going to suck to pull in the car. You pull the starter down.
Well, so we can pull this cap here.
Yeah.
This one's pretty easy to get to.
And that's
We'll pull that one and we'll
that's
see.
the thrust bearing. So
We'll see how bad it looks. If it looks good,
may as well
just leave them. These are your uppers. I already put the lowers in. Suppose that's something that we could.
Okay, did you?
Yes.
Okay. Did you pay attention?
Yeah. It says LN, lower.
Just making sure, because the chamfer, sometimes these things are offset, so.
Yeah, I made sure. And I remember from the last time that we did it that we messed up. So that's something that we could tell everybody.
Well, before you put bearings in it, can we not worry about that right now? I want to pull that main out real quick.
Well, I just did those.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, you had those other bearings.
No, I'm not doing those. I was just going to explain the difference
Oh, between the uppers and lowers?
between the uppers and lowers.
Doesn't really matter on stock rod stuff so much. It's the aftermarket rod stuff that is
Okay, something worth mentioning that we found out the hard way once because we didn't pay attention, and nobody reads instructions. Like, you don't need those, right?
I do.
He says
Every
he
single
did,
time.
but he also messed up the first time.
Never.
But King's bearings, they have uppers and lowers to their rod sets. So make sure on the outside that there's an LN on the lower ones and a UN on the uppers. So I already went and put the two lowers on the caps that we have off, and we're going to wait to do the uppers till we check that rod cap. Main cap. You knew what I meant. They knew what I meant. on video. Don't get nervous.
Sure.
Coming down.
Well, that's scary. Just kills me.
Just, I would say shoot for the top.
That's probably enough. I'll go back up and watch this bitch. Be a hell of a thing to get on video.
ended up swapping the crank. We rolled bearings in the crank one time before and it wasn't looking the best, so we grabbed a different crank that we had laying around, put it up in there after polishing, of course. All new bearings, it's all lubed up. Right now we're torquing everything.
See, make sure your gauge is plugged in. New crankshaft, new bearings, new oil pump. That's really annoying that it does that. All right, I feel it this time.
We got the SS back together just in time to go to a Holden meet for the Iowa gang that we've been a part of for a while. So just changed the oil, went with a 530 because the 1540 is running a bit too much oil pressure. It spikes up to 106 at 3,500 RPM, which is going to blow out our oil pressure sensor. So we're going to need to figure that out. If you have any suggestions for LS upgraded oil pressure sensors that won't blow out at 100, drop it in the comments below. But we're gonna grab Artemis and the red-headed stepchild over there, and go meet up with a bunch of other cool Holdens. So enjoy. Don't mind those lights. They always come on because the drag pack's on and TPMS sensors aren't there. Just cruising. great. Hot idle oil pressure is about 64, 65 at 1500 RPM, so can't complain about that at all. That's pretty great. It's a little hot in here, so I'm probably just gonna roll the windows down and cruise, but I'm ecstatic. I can't wait to get it back to the track, make some test hits, hopefully before race week. Cutting it close. We got like 3 weekends left before race week, and I have to work a few of them, so time to get the trailer ready and hopefully get some test miles on the SS, get it dialed in. But